You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the May 2025 regular council meeting for the Municipal District of St. Stephen. I'm Florence Mitchell. In today's meeting, Mayor McEachern will hold a moment of silence for Councillor Earl Eastman, who died on May 14th. Further to this, Council will move to suspend the rules of procedure by removing the public comment period for this meeting. Under public and statutory hearings, Council will review correspondence received offering opinions on proposed municipal plan bylaw M-4. Under new business, Council will move to forward the proposal to amend the composition of Council to the Department of Local Government for their review. Council will move to approve the personal protective equipment policy and public participation policy. Additionally, Council will move to approve a budget amendment to the capital plan by redirecting funds originally designated for replacing a municipal vehicle to instead be used for the development of a greenhouse. Finally, Mayor McEachern will proclaim May 25th to 31st as Disability Awareness Week. Now let's join Council in the Moosehead Room at the Garceland Civic Centre in St. Stephen.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the Municipal District of St. Stephen Council agenda on May 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. We'll call to order. Before we begin, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered today on the ancestral unceded territory of the Passamaquoddy peoples. And also, before we begin, I'd like to read a statement for the passing of Earl Eastman, our fellow councillor. So please bear with me. It is with deep sadness that we acknowledge the passing of Councillor Eastman. Earl is not only a dedicated member to our council, but he is also elected in 2022, but also a true community leader whose life was defined by service to his country, his comrades, and his community. Earl served with honor and distinction as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces for 33 years. Following his military retirement, he continued his commitment to public service as an advocate and a mentor with the Royal Canadian Legion, where he served as the past president of the St. Croix branch, as the provincial district commander of Charlotte County. Earl's voice at the council table was always one of reason, compassion, and integrity. His legacy will be felt through the countless lives he touched and the positive impact he made in our community. Earl's work at the council table will not be forgotten. It will continue to impact our decisions and the remainder of our council. On behalf of council and the entire Municipal District of St. Stephen, I extend our deepest condolences to Earl's family, friends, fellow veterans. His loss is deeply felt and he will be missed dearly. So following that, we're going to have a moment of silence, please. Good idea. Okay. Okay, our next motion is to suspend the procedure, a proposal that council suspend the rules of procedure for removing the public comment for this meeting. I need a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Harding, Councillor Rodas, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Motion carried, thank you. All right, I need a mover and seconder for the agenda for the regular council meeting held on May 21st, 2025, or being held, be approved.
Second.
Councillor Heislip, Deputy Mayor Wheaton, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any conflicts of interest this evening? Okay, seeing none. Okay, next up. I need a mover and seconder to move into the public hearing of objections for the municipal plan bylaw number M-4. Correspondence be received offering opinions and proposed municipal plan bylaw number M-4. Councilor Greenlaw? Second. Councilor Cornish? Does we jump in or approve it now, or just, okay, so all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, so this opens up the floor for any correspondence on the public hearing of objections.
Any public speakers, you say correspondence, but
Oh, sorry. Any public speakers on the public hearing of objections? Any okay.
So I accidentally found out that there was stuff highly impacting me in the municipal plan. There was zero consultation brought to me. It was resolved once consultation happened and I brought the players involved. But the lack of transparency of saying these PIDs are going to be impacted, no addresses were in that PID, and it would have significantly impacted all of the players that were on there. So I would love to see better transparency and the things that go into that plan to actually consult the people that are around there. And then I also have a significant issue with the BIA and having that impacted so strongly by this proposal, dropping it down from a $26,000 budget to, which I fund, down to something that would be $1,200. I don't have time to do the BIA's job. I would like to access somebody who would be there for me specifically. And I've had that, and because everything's been so challenging to work with, I've seen the behind the scenes stuff, and it's been a nightmare, and I don't want to take that on personally. So there's been a lot of issues with how things have been dealt with, and I think the BIA should be able to have a levy that makes sense and not have the town control as many things in negative ways. As a business owner, I would prefer to be dealing directly with the BIA than asking the town for things. So those are my two main concerns.
It's too late. Thank you. I just asked you to please introduce yourself first. Sorry. Thanks.
Good evening, I'm Sue Smith. I'm from Ward 2. My concern is the proposal for 34 Boundary Street into a multi-lot division geared to affordable housing, contingent on the amendment of the zoning bylaw. There was a CBC interview 2 days ago with Marcel Lebrun of 12 Neighbors putting neighborly homes in municipalities, and he specifically mentioned St. Stephen in the interview. If this is something you're considering or in talks with, I would hope that there would be a public consultation, hearing with the residents of Boundary Street and any concerned citizens, as well as an environmental impact study of the land of 34 Boundary Street before proceeding with any changes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a couple of questions, but I'm going to save those for after, if I can just have 2 minutes of your time after the meeting. I'm just going to make a few comments. Good evening, my name is Silly Morgan and I'm from Ward 2. I would like to talk about the proposed changes to allow homes to have up to 4 separate units on their property, which I believe will be done through the zoning changes, which are designed to make it easier for property owners to create more housing. I have some comments that I hope you will have some consideration to, will give some consideration, sorry, I'm talking too fast, to, before you vote. Does the proposal only allow homes to be renovated to create 3 secondary dwellings units for a total of 4 units subject to the lot size and parking space requirements. This is something that should be considered. For example, a home with a primary dwelling unit, a secondary unit on the ground floor, a basement unit, and an in-law suite on the backyard. That puts a lot of strain on the infrastructure, but it also puts strain on the street if you don't have ample parking for all the people. Does the proposal state it would not permit a homeowner to raise a property, meaning destroy or tear down to make way for a brand-new fourplex? Some of the communities that have embraced the 4-unit dwelling have encountered issues where property has been destroyed and a fourplex has been erected. We all know that sometimes it's cheaper for landlords to erect a new unit than to retrofit an old dwelling. What measures will be put in place to deter someone from doing this? And what will the town have in place, if they did, to have to act against someone who went against the plan? That should be considered as well. What measures will be taken to ensure the character of the community is kept intact? The homes in the town have a lot of old character to them. The plan needs to include some wording around how the look or appearance of the structure should fit into the current landscape. I'll use Tim Hortons as an example. The Tim Hortons up here, I see in Scarborough, back in Ontario. The one over in, and I'm just using the one in St. Andrews, those are all in the small towns in Ontario because they fit the town, they fit the appearance of it. So that should be something that should be taken into consideration. Lastly, I'm concerned the changes would make our neighborhoods even more attractive to investors looking to make a profit off the single detached homes. How can we be assured this will not turn into another Starshine issue with an absent landlord and deteriorating dwellings? It's just a comment because I don't believe council has any authority over who can buy a property or not. However, I do know it's quite a concern for a few residents. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Okay, any more public objections? Yeah.
I'm going to just speak about my concern about the capital plan. It's kind of two things related. So the capital plan shows there's a proposal to spend $250,000. This also relates to, I'm a little bit out of sorts now because I'm nervous and I'm sorry.
You want to take a moment?
Just to keep it as short as I can, is to say that I feel like the capital plan allocating money for a new council chamber is not appropriate and I feel like it would be better placed in the plan towards a generator, the backup generator that would prevent untreated sewage from going into the St. Croix River. And I feel like that is far more of a priority over a council chamber. I know this chamber's not ideal. It's not accessible. It's not nice having your backs to us. It's not big enough if you should happen to get a crowd. So I would say send less on that and put the generator as more of a priority. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Heather Donahue, the former ED of the St. Stephen BIA. So the proposed changes in the municipal plan, it was sad to see that nobody came to talk to the BIA. I don't know if you understand everything that we do, but we are a corporation. We're our own identity. We've been incorporated since 1984. And at the time, we had many strong businessmen and ladies, more so men than ladies, such as Bill Garsland, Howie Erdang, Don Olmsted, Jack Llewellyn, Raymond Day, Bill McBride, your grandfather, Alan Halstead, and even my mother, who worked for Imperial Optical, is on the list, plus many, many more. They seen the need of the BIA. So what we do is we leverage grant money. And so I went back since 2022. And from my calculations, from 2022 till 2020, the end of 2024, we have leveraged $286,260. That digital sign cost $106,766. The Welcome to Downtown St. Stephen was $15,525. It never cost the town a penny, except you guys put in the work to erect it. We have given self-watering plants, lamppost banners, bike racks. We've done 3 murals. In 2021, we did St. Stephen 1871, which is on the wall of the library. That cost the BIA, with grant money, $6,569. In 2022, we did Painting the Light, St. Stephen, on the SimCorp building. That mural cost $23,870. And if you don't, I hope you guys know the story about that, but Mayor McCachran is in that mural. And the lady that walked from New York is in there, who I'm still in contact with because she was overwhelmed. And she plans on coming to St. Stephen again this year. Our latest one was a celebration of botany, which I'm grateful that Ian Briggs gave his building. Same thing with Bob Sweeney. They donated the side of their buildings, expecting nothing in return. And the celebration of botany cost $16,535. That was all grant money that the BIA leveraged. We invested in downtown community safety security cameras for a cost of $29,584. We've leveraged money for the Moonlight Music Festival, Dancing in the Street Festival, the St. Stephen Lobster Festival. In 2024, the Town Square project, we leveraged $20,000 for the picnic tables, the garbage cans, the park benches, planners, and the town gave $11,000. So that was from downtown New Brunswick. So to get the $20,000, we had to go over a little bit. We've been able to give the community discounts on our downtown dollars. We have, since 2021, we received $10,494 in summer students that saved the town because they worked in the downtown. We were granted 1 summer student this year, but unfortunately there's nobody sitting in my place now to do the paperwork. The town was gracious enough, they overseen the student day to day, but somebody still had to be there for the student and do all the paperwork. There's nobody sitting there now. So, established in 2023, the Downtown New Brunswick Investment Initiative, titled Hearts of Our Communities, has proven to be a crucial tool in revitalizing our downtowns and main streets, offering a significant economic and social benefits. With a $500,000 annual contribution from the province of New Brunswick's Department of Local Government, in 2023, the program successfully leveraged $874,578 in cost-shared investments, catalyzing over $5.2 million in economic activity across the province. That's a 6-to-1 return on investments. They got word yesterday that the $500,000 is there again for 2025. But the BIA doesn't have a grant writer. So I don't know what they're going to do about that. Now I'd like to talk about our downtown dollars. Our downtown dollars were implemented in 2019, and every year they grew. $7,025 in 2019, $4,740 in 2020. So those are the dollars that went out our door and were spent in the BIA. So they could take those, like take their money and go outside of St. Stephen, but the community chose to buy our dollars and support our small businesses. 2021, $8,510. 2022, $9,450. In 2024, $11,390. 2023 was $11,390. 2024, $12,425. $750 have been sold so far this year. So a grand total of $54,290 was invested in the small businesses. And I can tell you exactly where those dollars were redeemed. And pretty much every business, even the accountants, the plumbers, and insurance companies have received those downtown dollars. And at Christmas time, we do a 20% blowout sale. And we had one customer or resident bought $300 from me with a 20% discount and walked right over to Day Insurance and put $300 on their insurance. But it only cost the resident, what would it be? Well, it's $60 from $300, $240. So they got a discount. Day Insurance got full value. We reimbursed them. So if the mayor and council decide to take away the BIA, what's going to happen to our downtown dollars? What's going to happen to our, well, right now we're already impacted with no grant writer sitting in the BIA. Our frontline security cameras. I wrote an email on April the 10th asking the town to take them over because I'm not there. I never received a reply from Jeff, Mayor McCachran, or any councillors. So, I mean, our community is in hard shape, and we've invested close to $30,000, and I'd hate to see those go out the door. So I think you guys, what you guys proposed in the plan, you can't do. The only thing you guys can do is not approve the levy in the fall. And it will be sad if this mayor and council decides to not approve the levy. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
No, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Next up, I need a mover and seconder for the minutes of the regular council meeting held on April 30th, 2025 be approved as presented. Councilor Harding, Councilor Heislip. Questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Yes. Oh, right. Okay, so I am going to jump ahead for you, sir, because you got your double book tonight. So let me see where we are here. So I'm going to jump ahead to the reports Can I have a mover and seconder to jump into the reports for the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission? Councillor Greenlaw? Councillor Cornish? Floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I apologize for having to duck out early here. So you received a letter from PRAC about their views on the municipal plan. They have 2 suggestions for minor amendments. And again, amendments to the plan can happen before third reading. Substantial ones would require another public hearing of objections like tonight, but minor adjustments to the bylaw are acceptable and can be done up until the point of third reading. We suggest actually holding off on doing third reading until you have a zoning bylaw to accompany the municipal plan, or you time delay the municipal plan effectiveness until the zoning bylaw comes into play. So you can do that by a motion. Just in terms of updates, worked with the CAO, we were looking at municipal-owned surplus properties and helped Jeff identify what the zoning might be for potential future developments of those. Along with Xander, a housing specialist, met with MB Housing, provincial planning officials, talked about different ideas for planning, financing, developing new housing in St. Stephen and across the region. In terms of development, you've had 35 building or demolition permits that have been reviewed for zoning compliance and referred to the building inspector, 11 last month. You've had 12 development permits so far and 5 in the last month. 3 sign permits, 3 subdivision approvals, so that equals 8 new building lots, 7 zoning confirmation letters, and 31 new homes or dwelling units permitted year to date, and 3 additional in the last month. So your total value of new construction value added to the municipal district is just about 6.2 million year to date. And that concludes our report. Thank you.
Just have a question about MB Housing. Did you feel like with the change in government, there's kind of more focus on housing, and that seems to be a priority area?
I'm not sure about the change of government, but I know they're not developing as much as they'd like to, and it's really important for them to have a willing partner with the municipality. So if you are stepping forward, and I think St. Stephen would be one of those kinds of candidates that could really step forward. I think they would be looking for that kind of partnership. But no, I don't really know. I can't really answer that question. I haven't observed anything that really sticks out to me or anything like that. But
yeah, just want to make sure I understand. So you're saying the third reading of the plan won't happen until after we develop the bylaw?
So the zoning bylaw is one of the bylaws that implements the municipal plan, so the development regulations. And we would suggest holding off on adopting the municipal plan at third reading, making it finalized, because there are several rural plans that would be repealed by the adoption of the municipal plan. And rural plans function like a plan for the community as well as a zoning bylaw. They're kind of combined documents.
Okay, well, thank you. And safe travels to your next meeting. Okay. All right, so I'm going to jump back to get a mover and seconder for the report of the Chief Administrative Officer. Councilor Harding. Deputy Mayor Wheaton. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, Your Worship. As noted in the report, a lot of things are a lot of balls in the air right now. A lot of things are currently in progress. Just this afternoon, we were wrapping up our evaluation of the HR, Human Resources Management and Payroll Systems proponents. Had some follow-up questions for one of the vendors. Looking at debriefing with the team and fully expect to have a full recommendation to council at your next council meeting for a vendor award. As Alex noted, we've been working on the council's strategic goal of disposing of surplus lands. The addition of the real estate expertise that council was good enough to provide us. We had a startup meeting. That was excellent. I think we learned a lot about the real estate game, and they happened to learn a lot about municipal government and some of the why we're different than commercial real estate or private citizens and how we conduct our business and how we have to. So I think it was a really good knowledge exchange that happened at our first meeting. We each took some homework away with us to work on. You'll see some things coming up down the road as far as legal documents that will need to be approved and things, just to get the system built around what we wanted to accomplish. But that started off really well. Rivers and I made our journey up to St. John. Rivers was good enough to introduce me to a program called Connection Works, an organization dedicated to building and enhancing people's entrepreneurial spirit. We're now in active discussions about expanding their program into our region. Very impressed with all the players that we met. They were in the midst of an office change, and despite the chaos in the room and us walking around people that were still assembling cubicles, they was put on a very, very impressive front for us. We're looking at setting up a meeting of some key local stakeholders that we've identified to discuss the concept and start figuring out if this is the right fit for us and how we can roll out this program locally here. We're not the only municipality that's in conversations with them about branching out. I understand I think there's four new municipalities that are interested. And I've talked to at least one of the CAOs that has been involved with Connection Works as well, and everything's been positive. So we're looking forward to continuing those conversations in the near future and working with Future St. Stephen and Working NB and all the players that we're going to bring around the table to hopefully bring you a proposal that works for everybody and really enhances some of the opportunities for training and support for local entrepreneurs. So I was really impressed with that. Our branding project is well underway. We've identified a number of stakeholders that have, many of whom have already taken part in some initial conversations with our consultant. Got a few more of those to go before the first real milestone on that project, where they start bringing things together. There will be a session for council and staff to be involved as well and as part of the program. But that's off and running. The other one, kind of a bittersweet one, is I had been working with Councillor Eastman very hard on the development of a new councillor orientation program. We know that was his pet project from the SMART goal sessions that we held. And the first draft of that document is complete. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to show him the results of our hard work, but I will be bringing that forward in the very near future for all of council to have a look at and provide some insights into. But it was it's very, very. I believe it was a very good product that we've started, and just needs some fine tuning at this point. With that, just a note for council. Mr. Sumner and I will be away next week for our professional development conference. We will be reachable by phone or email and whatever we need, but we'll be out of the office. With that, Your Worship, if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you, Jeff. Any questions of council? Emily or Councilor Rodas?
I just want to make a comment and say I've been to Connection Works in St. John, and I think that's fantastic that they are considering branching out into smaller areas, because it is great for entrepreneurs to be able to connect and talk with one another and kind of share their insight and their learnings. And then just a note on, I think that's a beautiful legacy that Councillor Eastman's going to leave, actually, to leave, a starter orientation package for the next councillors to come in. So I think that's really great that you prioritize kind of finishing up that draft. I wish you got to show him it, but I think it's a beautiful legacy that he's going to carry on for the next councillors. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Okay, I had a mover, I had a seconder, and no more questions. All those in favor of accepting the CAO report? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And I'll have a mover and seconder to move into the departmental information reports. Councillor Greenlaw, Councillor Wright. And we'll, okay, no, he's not here. Deputy CAO report, are you going to take that, Jeff?
Just to he does send his regrets to the rescheduling of the meetings this month. He had a conflict on with regard to his roles as a fire chief. But the report is there. I'll take any questions away for responses in short order.
Councilor Greenlaw?
Yeah, a couple quick questions. One, on the shut off the water at Victoria Street property, was that due to unpaid bill? Secondly, just with regards to using only the salt, I see, cleaning up the catch basins and so on and so forth. Was there less work this year as a result of us using salt only rather than the sand? As far as, the basins. Yeah.
I'll take those away. I don't know the answer, but I'll take those away.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd be interested to know, Councillor. Okay, so that's it for that. Okay, go ahead, Councilor Greenlaw.
With regards to the meeting with the wildfire resiliency and the smart fire consultants, are we moving ahead to see if we can get them to come and do a risk assessment in this area? I drive around a lot and I see the condition of the woods with the deadfall and stuff, and it's a lot of fire load there, and I just want to know if we're aware of what our risk is.
That one I can respond to. I was the one that actually set up that meeting. So yeah, it was. We had a really positive meeting with the consultants. They're working on a proposal, basically a large-scale fire resiliency plan proposal for us. They're working on the proposal right now, and we're anxiously awaiting details on how we can get access to the Fire Smart money that the government announced, but hasn't rolled out the application forms or the funneling methods yet, because the consultants and Mr. Morton and I kind of agreed that this should fit the program, whatever program, however they roll it out. So we're hoping to get access to those funds to support a project. But hazard identification is one, evac routes is another. It's a very large, very in-depth resiliency plan that we're looking at. And they have far more expertise and far more technological items that they can use to bring to bear that we have internally. So we're cautiously optimistic that we can get the funding to support the project. One of the reasons I asked them to prepare the proposal anyway is in the event that we are unsuccessful in getting funding for whatever reason, our intention would be to bring it here and have a conversation, either probably at committee first, about whether it's appropriate to go into the operating reserve or something like that to fund a one-off project like this. So we're working down the path regardless, but we are kind of trying to time things to see how GMB handles the 40 million, 50 million, whatever they announced for Fire Smart funding.
And we actually had a meeting with Mr. Irving's group on similar topic on that too as well, which they'd like to help with. Councilor Rodas?
I just see in the animal control report, Mike Shannon made a note that he received a number of calls from Old Bay Old Ridge Barter Settlement in Hannah Road for running dogs, and he just mentions no one's doing these areas hard to keep proper control with no leash bylaw. I'm actually wondering if we could take a more significant look at that, just because I'm on the road all day as a social worker in the rural areas, and I've noticed this a lot, like running dogs along the side. I've only almost hit a couple of them. And I think it is challenging, like even in the moment, you want to pull over the car, but because you're in the country, they're off into the woods and you can't really, it's not like town where they just go up another street and you can kind of follow them. So I was wondering about that, what our bylaw is currently in town, and if that would even be possible, or if that would make his job easier to try to enforce it. I think that's kind of what he's saying, hard to keep proper control. I mean, if we can support him with the bylaw, may be helpful.
I definitely agree that it's we've had ongoing conversations with Mr. Shannon about the rural area, what the long-term, short-term, long-term plans are going to be. I think the conversation is bigger than just the bylaw. I think if we're going to, like anything, if we're going to launch an expanded program, we're going to have to sit, all of us will have to sit and figure out the resourcing of that enforcement, the costing related, who's the best agency / individual / internal staff to handle that, and the costings of that. I mean, just throwing a bylaw in without the ability to enforce it is very difficult for all of us. I know Mr. Shannon, he's dedicated, he's passionate, and he wants to help, and we know that. But we have to be very sure on where we're going as a community. What's the difference between Ward 2 internal urban dwellings versus the rural setting? What's acceptable, what's not acceptable? These are the great questions that you guys are here to answer. So I can make sure that we have it on the list to bring up for committee of the whole, to have a grander discussion. And as that grander discussion kind of will add clarity, we can look at drafting a bylaw that matches the goals and expectations that you guys set.
Also, if you could just bring to committee, like even just sharing the process of what happens, because I'm not sure if he gets a call in a rural area, does the dog go in the back with him if he could get the dog, and does it go to SPCA? Just the process of what that even looks like, because I'm not sure, and then we can have a better understanding of what his job looks like. I'm not even sure what his calls are like, if he gets calls in the moment or he gets calls afterwards about a common problem that people are seeing on the road. But I definitely do understand what you're saying. There's a difference between your dog running around your yard in the rural area, but if your dog is like bolting down the road on one of the old highways, we would say, then I just wonder how he even differentiates that out in those areas. So just kind of an oversight of what his job even looks like.
I think it's doing a full program review, where we are today, what are the goals for the future, and what's the gap, and how do we get between the two. I think that's kind of how we'll frame the conversation, and I think it'll be an interesting conversation, as we talk about rural urban issues are always entertaining in our new community, and it will be, and we have to have those conversations. So we'll schedule a program review and to walk through.
Yeah, just to comment on that. I mean, that's no different than us going to visit the sewage lagoon when we go, right? To see the operation. That's a good point. I just assumed everyone knew what a dog catcher does, but no, it wouldn't hurt to have the details. No. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's whenever you didn't expect it, but anyway. Okay.
This is for public knowledge. I've seen a coyote in town on my doorbell dash cam. So I'm not sure if Mike Shannon deals with that, but that's been lately I've noticed that kind of in town, right off Pine Street. I think there's a lot of deer there, but I've been shocked. So maybe we can have a conversation about that too, because that is a greater, kind of like St. Andrews and their issues with deer. I think we sometimes, like when the deer are more populated within town, we sometimes get other visitors that we don't necessarily want to see. And it's sometimes at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. So yeah, Alan knows I've sent him the video.
I not only saw the video, I got the sound of that.
Yes.
And that was horrific, by the way, what I heard. So whatever that coyote or whatever it was on, anyway. I'll share. Anyway, okay, so that's the end of that discussion. We've already talked about number 2 with Alex. And next is a community service report. Kev.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to update council on a number of the capital projects which we've got ongoing this year. We'll start with the Rotary Field project, and on the soccer side, we have gone out as staff, myself, Public Works foreman, and the landscaper mower, just to assess some of the points that Mr. Zwicker brought up at the committee of the whole. We are looking, as I said, of sliding the field a little bit, and it will, without giving accurate to the centimetre points, it'll be around about 100 metres in length and about 50 metres in width. There is room for about 12 to 15 feet of buffer, as there would be a safety concern there. What I am looking at is sourcing, and I've got 2 good quotes for full-size goals which can be put on wheels, so there is some flexibility there. There is also the opportunity that assists with the maintenance and the mowing, so we're not creating the danger spots, the low spots. And we're looking at getting higher nets up to 20 feet to stop any soccer balls going over the fence being an issue with road safety. So still a little bit of work to do. I know the weather has not been kind to us. The field is still very soft. Minor ball, they want to start playing next week, and they've actually booked 4 nights a week during the week, Monday to Thursday, for 3 hours each night. So the field is going to get used. They're very happy with the parking solution at the rear of the field. They love the fence. If you've seen it, it's got brand new gardening and brand new fencing, and it's going to help with accessibility there. So, and they're going to play weekends as well. So that's really encouraging that the ball program is very strong here, and we're pleased with how the progress is going. And once we get a final dimensions on the field, I'll certainly share those with council. But it's not too far from where we originally hoped, and we'll share those details when we get them. Onto the other projects, the pool liner project. The tender is a week away from closing. We're getting lots of interest from them. Actually, some companies that have given us quotes in the past. Had one today, in fact, and we put in there the timelines that we can go into the fall. There is a window there. We expect 3 to 4 weeks for this work to be done. So fingers crossed that is good and it doesn't eat into the summer. Tennis courts, we still haven't got timelines on those, but as you know, we are in the schedule for those to be worked on. We've seen concrete poured at the VIC location next to Pizza Delight last week. Real thanks to Sean and the crew that are putting together the small cabin that will be there in place. That will be open for July 1st. Same with there's a small pad that was poured out of the cotton mill monument, and that was thanks to a donation from Bill Egan and the volunteers that put together the monument in the past. So lots of spinning plates right now, just trying to keep everything moving, and hopefully the weather can help us, because we do need warm weather to keep things going. But that's making the grass grow, so that's keeping the mowing crews and the horticultural crew busy. And as we saw last Friday, we had the market started for the first time. It was a great day for that. The trails, the green spaces continue to keep the crew busy, and the GCC is still busy. we've had roller skating, roller blading, ball hockey leagues, and games going on, and so it's good to see that. We've seen the home and rec show was here. We had the IWK. We've had swim meets. So we're just, even though the ice is gone, there's still lots of activity in the building. And as you saw in my report, we got some very good report information from Climate Resilience Project on potential flooding in the next 60 to 70 years, and how we can mediate that a little bit at a time, not tens of millions of dollars, but slowly pick away at it and work towards keeping us high and dry. So that's my report. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
I was going to ask you this today, so I might as well ask you it now, because I never got a chance to. I had an inquiry about the ball field. How much more work are we doing on that piece? Are we any more fencing work?
On the ball diamond?
Yeah, the ball diamond.
It has to be dragged. We haven't had a chance to get a track on it because it's so soft. It will take 3 to 4 really good drags, really good work. We're trying to get the just the basics, get the foul poles back up. They should be up by the end of this week, and home plate and lining. But we're being just so wet. We're not the only one. All the cities, the communities are struggling to play. So that's pretty close, to getting done.
So just follow up. Is that are we done with the fencing on that part? Like, are you doing any more?
I'd say yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Harding.
Thank you. I don't see it in your report. It may be there, but what about the bad actors? Are we getting any more at the Civic Center, or have they pretty well dried up? Like the kids that are raised in.
It's helped not having the arena open. We had security as well just at the end of April, which really did curtail them. We saw a little bit of an issue Saturday night, Sunday morning with the long weekend. That was 2:30 in the morning. Our cameras kind of fired up, and there was issues in the plaza and out front. So it hasn't gone away, but it has certainly been reduced. So.
Councillor Greenlaw?
Yeah, just I noticed that you put in for a $5,000 grant with GMB to supplement the training budget for the aquatics. So you said it's the budget for training is projected to be significantly over. Will the $5,000 cover that, or is it beyond that?
It should do. We're very fortunate. We have a good working relationship with GMB. The contact, she's a former aquatics manager, so she looks kindly on us. We've got such a strong program here. It should be covered. We should be good. But yeah, there's with the programs we offer, the training, the mentorship program. Because a lot of our lifeguards are now trainers. They are taking part. They are facilitating the courses. So we want to ensure that we keep this going, because we are almost becoming a hub for training certainly in this corner of the province. And we're not the same size pool as St. John, but we're getting close to competing and providing the programs that they have. So
Nothing wrong with being the hub of training. Councillor Rodas?
Yeah, it's just more of a request. I'm wondering if we could look at with the Rotary Field. I've noticed there's some new sports starting up. So in St. Andrews, I could see some people in a parking lot playing cricket, like some newcomers. Also, I know St. Stephen Middle School just started some flag football, and they're having games between Fundy High School, but right now they're playing just in the old ball diamond around the middle school. And I know there's a lacrosse league starting up for youth too. So I'm just wondering if maybe you and I could consult later after about potentially making the best use of the lining on the field, because I do think if you could incorporate lining for flag football, lacrosse, just some other sports, I can see that the changes that are being made to the field, especially some new sod and fixing some of the holes in the nets, I do feel that it actually is going to encourage more use, and I'd love to see those groups access that field more, because I know that we've had an influx in ball diamond users back there, but it would be really cool to see some of those flag football kids, even if they're just practicing, even if it's not regulation size for the appropriate sport, they can just do their practices. And also, I'm not sure how service clubs go about booking, what's best practice. Can they book the field online, or do they just email you directly?
In your first part of the question, yeah, we can certainly do that, and that's why we looked at getting new goals with wheels that they can move, so they can create more space. And that's the good thing about the paint we use and the rain, is that we have to keep painting it, so if there is any adaptation with lines, then we can certainly facilitate that. In regards to booking, yeah, they can just send it through to the events email, or Michelle or myself, and yeah, get in early, because the field's going to get busy. So.
Hey, thanks, Kev. Sorry, go ahead.
Not sure where it's appropriate, Kevin, but I was approached by some people in Hampton. They're getting their new rink. I think it's going to be opened up in a month or so, and their old rink is going to be turned into a field house. And they wanted to know, I talked to Kevin, anybody else who wants to listen to me, they wanted to know if we'd like to come up, take a look at their plans, just in case we would like to do something with our old rink. It looks like it's going to be quite a field house, and I personally like to go see it. I'd like to go see it with someone who knows something about these things, so I'm just throwing that out as an invitation, and I'll try to make an invitation, but it might give us some ideas what we might be able to do. So I'll just throw it out there and get a hold of me if you want to.
Thank you. Okay. Assistant Treasurer report, yeah, still, yeah, okay. Haven't changed that note. I'm thinking too far ahead. Anyway, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. reports in front of you. I'll just go through for anyone that may not have had the opportunity to read it. Busy during the month with the receivables department. They did 5 property and sewer account transfers in April. Water and sewer receipts, 411 receipts, water and utility receipts for $106,000 collected. And in our general fund, we collected a total of $150,000 by way of receipts, and a little over $1.2 million from direct transfers, of which roughly $950,000 or so would have been from the province for our monthly taxes. Once again, our new finance clerk is still busy training and preparing for when she's going to be responsible for a couple of departments, for our payables and our receivables, and working with that. She's also been very involved in our with our ongoing technology sessions and providing input there. Accounts payable, the check register is with this report, 153 payments totaling $1.4 million. That 153 payments represents net, that could represent anywhere from 1 invoice to 30 invoices for each payment. So there's a lot of work that goes into preparing those and getting them ready. Hopefully, we'll see some significant improvement in terms of our process once we go down the road of selecting our provider. Most of the providers, very similar processes, so you can get a feel for that, how this is going to work, and I can see significant improvement in not just with the payables, but with the payroll and certainly with our budget software as well. Payroll processing, 277 payments totaling $306,000. We're going to start to see an increase there because we've brought with our summer students and with some of the part-time staff that come on during the season. And so that will actually increase with May and for the summer. Nikki's still busy doing timesheets. Again, that's an area that we're going to see some significant improvement in once we look at our payroll and HR software, and we're hopeful that it's going to take a bit for all of this software. It's going to take a bit for us to get there because it's not basically they come in today and they turn it on and we're up and running. There's significant time investment in terms of getting it set up and getting it trained and getting to the point where we can go live. But we're certainly looking forward to that day that we can start using the software. Garston Civic Center, primarily that's with Nikki, and she's busy with that. And general ledger accounts, we're still working. I've been as late as today, still working on getting numbers together for our Questica, our budget software. And part of that as well is the new account structure. What we're doing right now is trying to tie in our 23, 24, and 25 budgets and 23 and 24 actuals so that we can download that into the software. No HST returns filed during the month. Various meetings, most of those related to the budget software, AP, payroll, and that's SMT, or senior management team meetings and that sort of thing. The audit process has also started. We've gotten our first list of 48 items that I'm pulling together now between myself and M&P. And I've been working closely, and I'm having ongoing discussions with M&P. I'm very impressed with how far they take this and their commitment to ensuring that we have a smooth audit process. Primarily, they are the first point of contact at this point with our auditors, and that comes back to essentially the way that the agreement with them was written. I'm working with the auditors, they're working with the auditors, but they're the first point of contact. I am looking forward to the end of the process. It seems that all I've been doing since September is audit. And I'm also looking forward to the next chapter and going back to M&P, one of the discussions I had with them yesterday was that I want to make sure that we're set up on the right foot for next year's audit, because they won't be part of it, and they have agreed. And I doubt that it was part of their agreement, but again, they've been very helpful. They have agreed to go through some things that they are doing that I'm not seeing that back end, and to work with me to make sure that when we get to next year that that part of the process is going to go easier for me. And again, the check register's there, and if there's any questions, I will try to answer them. Report.
Any questions, Council? Councilor Wright?
It's not a question so much as a comment. Thank you. I just have to say it again. Thank you, Frank. It's a team effort. Council set the directive and said this is what we need to do. We need to modernize. We need to optimize. And that's going to make us a more responsive municipality. It's going to make us a more efficient municipality. So Council set the goal and allocated the funds, made a significant investment, took some heat, like everything, you know, when you spend that kind of money. But I think it's paid off, and it's thanks to you and your staff for faithfully implementing what Council wanted. And the fact that our 2024 audit has been submitted to the external auditors, the earliest in memory, that just is a testament to you and your team being faithful to what the direction the Council has set. And I think it's a milestone that we really can't stress enough that has happened under this Council's watch, and it's going to make us a better municipality going forward. It's just kind of made us take a step here and say, okay, let's focus on the foundation, and that's what we've done. And you guys have made it happen, and I just don't think that we sometimes give you enough credit, and certainly the municipality as a whole maybe doesn't realize just how monumental this task has been for you guys. And I just want to say, because I know I was probably a loudest proponent of getting this done, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because to me that was one of my priorities in the strategic sessions we set, was making us a leader in excellence in administration. You guys are making it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Yes, you can, sir.
Thank you. But it's not an effort for Frank Godso. It's an effort for the whole team, so I certainly want to extend that thanks off to the team, because without them this wouldn't happen. And you know, and we are looking forward to moving on, and we are looking forward to this being something that we can celebrate on a year-to-year basis. Thank you.
Councilor Otis?
And congratulations to Sydney on the role. I mean, that's great that we have a new staff member too joining the team, and I think that's fantastic. And I just echo everything that Councillor Wright said. I think that it's hard at a certain time and place in your career to take a step back and just explore a whole new process and way of doing things. And it's not something that comes easily, and it's not something that some staff are ever willing to do, right? So just appreciate you stepping up to the plate. So if somebody came into my job and said, we're going to change the way you do everything from this point on, and we're starting today, it would be a big decision. So you made the decision to stick it out, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Next up, future St. Stephen.
Thank you, Your Worship. You have my report in front of you, but I'm going to try to get into a little bit of specifics centered around that. The first one is that for your reference, I'm nurturing a database of developers, and I call them friends of future St. Stephen, around 24 people right now, and they all have different needs and so on, but I'm pleased with that number, 24, and it continues to grow. Just got a lead from somebody else today, and this is a developer, this is someone you might want to contact, and that's what I've done so far. Thank you, Jeff, for coming with me to see the Connection Works gang. I've known this facility a long time, and it's the top-notch one in New Brunswick, definitely. And I'm really pleased to continue on those conversations with Connection Works to see what we can do in our hometown, too. There's I was working on a lease today for the rail spur that's been on the books for a while, and I'm trying to get it off your books. So that went off today. We are having our AGM the end of June, and we are looking for directors. There's a few directors that are not coming back onto the board. Talking about board membership, we were asked and accepted the board position on the world's oldest basketball court, so we'll be participating in that. Let me see what else. Oh yes, we're looking at having a joint meeting between us, our board and council, so that maybe we can do some planning together. And in that regard, Jeff sent the SMART Goals program to me. I've got to learn what that's all about, but ultimately I think that was a smart way to do it rather than just getting a room and whiteboard. So yeah, that's about it. I do have one question. If anybody knows how I can contact the high school principal, that would be great, because I'd like to bring there's one right there. No surprise. Well, because I'd like to start talking about entrepreneurship programs, or how we can help the entrepreneurship programs right in the high school themselves. Yeah. So that's it for me. Any questions?
Councillor Harding?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm pleased to see about the airport here, and that there's a group interested in developing the airport. I have been on, and so was the mayor. We were on a commission or a board for years trying to get the airport started. So anyway, however, I do not see anything about the hotel. Now, we're never going to move ahead in this town unless we have a hotel. I'll tell you right now. So, do you have any news on that?
Yes, I've been warned that you asked me this question. And I don't blame you, because I can see the definite benefits for it. What I can say is we're having very encouraging conversations with a potential suitor, and that's where I'd like to leave that, if you don't mind. But it's been encouraging versus just having a discussion.
Okay, you'll be back next month.
I will. I will, and I'll have an answer for you.
And hope there's a little bit more to it. You never know. Councillor Greenlaw?
Yeah, great report. Love to see that you're making progress and you're moving ahead fast. I like that. Just on the pharmaceutical company for 53 Progress Drive, and you talk about their concern is lack of labor. Is it labor in the region? Is it qualified labor in the region? And are you getting support from the RSC on?
Yeah, it's a great question. That was given to me by the real estate agent themselves. That was a major issue, but I can dig a little deeper into that one for you and get back to you. Yep.
Regional, what's the labor force regionally, within 8 kilometers? Rather than just in the municipal district.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Councillor Otis.
Yeah, and on that too, if it is a specialized kind of niche area, MBCC is right down the road, and maybe if they do need, tons of employees, we can work with MBCC to see if they can offer some sort of specialized program. I don't know if they have pharmaceutical programs down there or specialized labor programs, but we'll see as far as that type of work.
That was probably discussed at the board meeting. No, the training. Education. All right, so we've received all the departmental reports. There's no more questions. All those in favor of accepting the reports? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Council. Okay, new business. I need a mover and seconder for the proposal to amend composition to council. This is a proposal to be forwarded to the Department of Local Government for their review. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Harding?
Second.
Councillor Wright? Any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Greenlaw.
Just to make sure I've got my head around this, what you're basically creating is one rural ward now out of this whole thing. And previously we blended the tax rates, but when you calculate the cost for shared services, last year it was all of the costs of solid waste and all the shared services for the both rural wards were all blended into one. So it's going to be the same going forward. Does that make sense to you at all?
Yeah, everything will line up now, as opposed to being carved up several ways than when we were originally created. So this report here, the government was good enough to provide us with a new checklist of the process that they want to see us follow when it comes to any amendments to the council composition. So I tried to capture the discussions that we had previously and the decision of the committee to proceed. The numbers there, you'll see voters. If you add those up, that won't add up to our population. Obviously, those are only registered voters. Those came from Department of Local Government directly, right from Elections NB. And you'll see in there when we start looking at the math, that actually it does kind of balance out nicely when we go to a two-ward system as far as the representation ratios that we're aiming for, with some room for growth. But yes, as far as the budgeting goes, having everything lined up is going to make things a lot easier on our end. As far as all the tax rates and everything else, as we'll be able to carve it up much easier. But yeah, I just want to make sure at this point that the rationale document as drafted matches the rationale of you folks, so that I can submit that along with I'll do up a draft bylaw that they can review at the same time, and then once they have approval, then we're allowed to proceed to first reading and start down the process.
Okay. So no more questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Personal protective equipment policy. I need a mover and seconder. The council approves the personal protective equipment policy as presented. Councilor Heislip, Councilor Greenlaw. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Public participation policy. I need a mover and seconder. The council approves the public participation policy as presented.
Moved.
Councilor Wright.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Wheaton. Questions? Yes, Councilor Greenlaw.
So with this new process, like if somebody did want to address council, there's still a process for actually for addressing council and talking to council specifically by going through the mayor, CEO, or putting a request in, correct? Okay, yeah, thank you.
Something that actually only occurred to me this evening with respect to this policy. The policy can, if council is so willing, be adopted as it's written. One thing I would suggest, if it is adopted, that council consider. It can be done at the next council meeting if you choose. But given that the workflow of the town office, one thing we might want to consider is council delegating authority to the committee of the whole to also be a body that can approve the public participation plans that I draft. It just gives us 2 checkpoints in each month to, if we're going to run a project or we're working on something, we'd have both council and committee of the whole that we could hit whichever one's next to get that approval to proceed and not be delayed a month waiting for an approval for a communications plan, say. You can do that. There's a process for council to delegate power to a committee. We can do that next council. But I think it would be a wise decision. We don't want to get bogged down in red tape on this thing, but we do want to make sure it's done right.
Are we adding red tape to get rid of red tape?
No.
Could add another layer? No? Okay.
No, it's not another layer. Two bodies that can each have full approval authority. So we just go to the next meeting that's available to proceed.
Okay, so we'll tackle that at next committee. All right. So I had a mover, I had a seconder. Any more questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Request for budget amendment to capital plan. I'll take a mover and seconder for council approves a budget amendment to the capital plan by changing the use of funds previously identified for the replacement of the 2003 Sonoma Parks vehicle to instead be used for the development of a greenhouse. Councilor Harding.
Second.
Councilor Greenlaw, sorry. Questions? Question? Oh, sorry, Councilor Greenlaw.
So do we have a timeline on a return on investment? Like we're building the greenhouse to be able to more flowers and to save money. Do we have a rough estimate? Is it 5 years? Is it?
I would say, yeah, between 3 and 5 years, depending on how much we can save. But yeah, I'd say 5 years just to be careful and cautious. But yeah, I think that's good.
If I may, Your Worship, just...
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think when we're looking at the return on investment years too, we have to factor in that we have had calls for expansion of the horticultural services. So if there is a political movement to expand the services, which this will assist us with, it might affect that ROI. There's a kind of a balancing scale between doing more or saving enough money to offset to get your ROI. So when we say 3 to 5, it's current operations in the two scenarios, but if we start expanding into new areas, your costs will go up and there might be a different lever there. It's just a word of warning. I'm sure you all understand that, but it's good for people to be reminded from time to time.
Okay, so we had a mover, we had a seconder, and no more questions. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Council. Okay. Next up is Disability Awareness Week Proclamation, May 25th to 31st of 2025. Whereas a municipal district of St. Stephen is committed to assisting citizens with disabilities to participate fully in our community, and whereas many persons living with disabilities face barriers in areas of employment, access to information, transportation, housing, education, recreation, and other disability-related supports. And whereas we believe that more citizens with disabilities should have the chance to access disability-related supports to improve their opportunities in New Brunswick. And whereas we support the theme, championing accessibility, celebrating diversity. Now therefore be it known that I, Al McCachran, Mayor of the Municipal District of St. Stephen, do hereby request the citizens of our municipality to join our council in recognizing the persons with disabilities and their role in our community by the observance of Disability Awareness Week, May 25th to May 31st, 2025. Thank you. All right. Yes. Go ahead. I just not.
Well, I just want to note, during this week, send us emails about places in community that are not accessible, because there are lots of spots that we don't understand what it's like to live with a disability. So if you have any potential solutions for us, love to hear them. Yep, that's it.
All right. A mover and seconder for Library Board renewal of term, Kay Mallory. I need a mover and seconder that council approve the extension of the St. Croix Public Library Board member Kathy Mallory for a 3-year term. Councilor Heislip, Councilor Wright. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Scudic Street Residents Correspondence. I need a mover and seconder that council refers this matter to Committee of the Whole for review, along with the proposed amendments to the current traffic bylaw T-1. Councilor Cornish, Councilor Greenlaw. Questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Planning Review and Adjustment Committee, PRAC. Letter to council. Mover and seconder, please, that these written views of PRAC be received for information. Councilor Greenlaw, Deputy Mayor Wheaton. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Ooh, okay. I need a mover and seconder for acceptance of the council reports be acknowledged and received. Councilor Greenlaw, I hear Councilor Cornish over there. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. And,
Just don't adjourn. I want to make something like that.
You want to ask?
Yeah, I got passed.
All right. Okay, so what ask?
We're all done the count.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so on the plan, on the municipal plan, the feedback that was presented here tonight, and I mean, I put feedback in on 10 or 15 things, is that all going to be?
It's all recorded.
Right, it's all recorded, and we're going to disposition each one? Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons that we could, by the letter of the law, the Community Planning Act, you could have proceeded with second reading tonight. Administratively, Alex and I, knowing or expecting that we were going to get a number of comments tonight, specifically didn't put the second reading on the agenda to allow us time to digest the comments, relook at language, bring forward other proposed amendments if we think they're warranted, and allow you as well to digest what you heard tonight and provide us with input as well. So we didn't want. The process is set up so that you can try and get through it quickly. Knowing that we were going to have a public conversation on this one, we didn't want to have the appearance of trying to steamroll anything. So we said, no, we're not going to do a reading this month. We'll take the appropriate time to work with those comments and come back to you with anything that we think, how we would like to address them.
All right. So, listen, we get to literally stick to the agenda here, folks. But
I move to adjourn.
yeah.
Just to comment for Wade, the PRAC reviewed that the other night also with several people, and a lot of input, good meeting, and should help, I hope, in the future.
All right. Mover and seconder to adjourn.
I moved it.
Councillor Harding, Councillor Heislip. Meeting adjourned at 7:19.